You have reached the Geek Elite. Good luck.
Video games are a unique medium.
They can tell stories,
Immerse us in strange, fantastic worlds.
blur the very boundaries of our reality.
But at the end of the day, video games are fun. Whatever fun is to you.
I'm Jeff Moonen,
And I am Matt, a.k.a. Stormageddon.
and on Fun and Games, we talk about the history, trends, and community of video games.
It's a celebration of all the games we play and all the fun we find within them.
And there's so many more games out there, so we hope you'll share in that conversation with us.
Fun and Games podcast with Matt and Jeff. Find us on certainpov.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
And happy gaming.
Welcome back for another issue of Imagine If, and we are continuing our July month of Black Widow to celebrate the MCU coming back in film form.
That's right. We finally got to put those butts in seats or watch it from home. It's your choice. But yeah, the MCU is back on the... Okay, what is it? Is it the silver screen? Is that what you call it? So, so the MCU is back on the silver screen. Big budgets, big scenes, big action, all in the form of Black Widow.
All in the form of Black Widow. So this week, we're going to be talking about the character that almost everybody was introduced to through this movie, Yelena Belova, the young sister to Natasha Romanoff.
Quote-unquote sister.
Quote-unquote sister, this is correct. Also a Black Widow, because as you learn, Black Widow is a program. They're all Black Widows. I mean, I guess you kind of knew that going out of maybe out of Age of Ultron.
Well, there once upon a time, there was a uniqueness to it, but now everything is, all the titles get changed. There was a Winter Soldier, now there's Winter Soldiers.
There's
if there's
Soldiers.
a Black Widow, there's Black Widows.
Actually, I had something to ask about that, but we'll get to that. We're going to do Yelena Belova this week. Next week, we're going to talk about the movie in general, give our thoughts. We're going to let people have some time to sit there and ponder the movie, maybe go see it another time. But before we get into that, as always, we're going to check out what's new on the spinner rack, because it's New Comic Book Day.
That's right, fans. So keep this on your radar. Tuesday will be all the refreshing brand new comics from DC. And let's start it off with Action Comics Annual 2021 #1. Philip Kennedy Johnson will be taking the Super Family Beyond. If I remember correctly, some of these characters look like they might be of the lineage of Superman from future state. So that should be very interesting to see what's going on. For all you wing nuts, check out Batman and Scooby-Doo Mysteries #4. We get Dick and Barbara, so that's always a great time. And it looks like they're fighting a giant balloon-style Black Mask.
Yeah. That looks hilarious.
I hope they pull his mask off, because that's classic Scooby-Doo style. Tom Taylor's Batman the Detective will be out, so you get to see some more... who knows where they fit in the timeline adventures of a Batman? But, it's Andy Kubert, so it's good stuff. And it's Tom Taylor.
Batman?
I don't know. I haven't been reading it, to be honest with you, so I don't know if it's fair to call it like an older Batman, if it's because I just don't know.
Okay, that's fair. There's a variant cover also. What's that? Is that by?
Yeah, it looks like Andy Kubert again there for that one. So that'll be the oh gosh, I forget what they call them now, but the harder covers.
Oh,
the cardstock cover. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. So then we've also got Batman Urban Legends #5 with some David Finch art there. So this is the book if you want to get Batman's on the cover, so that way people buy it. But then inside we have all our side characters across the Gotham universe that it's become. So
I was wondering, what is the Batman Urban Legends book?
Yeah, well, I mean, as we can see here with some of the variant covers, we've got the Batgirls with Spoiler and Orphan, and then we've got a Jason Todd story inside. And I think that's the Jason Todd story by Chip Zdarsky, so that should be very interesting to see.
That's interesting.
We've got Challenge of the Super Sons #4. So Pete J. Tomasi gets to take the boys back to a more innocent time, or I guess less douchey for old Damien there, but you can go back to when Jonathan Kent was a boy and Damien wore a samurai-style Robin costume. But we get to see what's going on with them. DC Horror presents The Conjuring, The Lover. So if you want to get more action out of that franchise, definitely check it out. Detective Comics 1039 will be out. I don't know, this book, I mean, no offense to the creatives behind it, but it feels like it's gone into that classic problem that Detective Comics goes into, where it's like, hey, we're still publishing this for the sake of publishing it, but there's nothing really exciting going on because all the show is over in Batman instead of Detective. So that's the tough part with that one.
Detective Comics number 2, volume 2, 139. There's a variant cover by can you read with it? Lee something?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Lee Guillermo.
It's getting cut off.
Lee Guillermo. Oh gosh, he always does those. He does those really nice drawings of Batman in the armor and stuff like that. Lee Guillermo.
Okay.
Good stuff. Now this is the big book of the week, in my opinion. Flash Annual 2021 number 1. Wally gets his day. So if you were a fan of Heroes in Crisis, pick this up because it's going to add to that story. If you're a Wally West fan, here's the big moment. I got to read it early. I've been sitting on this for like 2 weeks now. I'm so glad it's here. I can't wait to see all the excitement that comes out of it. It was beautiful, so I really hope you enjoy it. Jeremy Adams, this opening arc, beautiful stuff. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
So it's a continuation of Heroes in Crisis, but it's not written by Tom King.
Well, because the thing is, in this story, so since we've gone into the Infinite Frontier, so we're out of New 52, we're out of Rebirth, we're in New Frontier. That's the new tagline for all the DC books. So when Infinite Frontier started over, there was obviously a lot of creative shuffling. So Jeremy Adams landed on this book. And he opened it up with Barry and Wally talking. And so Wally is like, yes, he's the good guy because like, hey, he did a lot of stuff to help us in
Future State?
Not Future State, because that wasn't an event, but it was an event, if it makes sense. He did a lot of stuff to help us during the Dark Knights.
Oh, okay.
Death Metal. There we go. That's the story. So he did a lot to help there, but people are still kind of like, yeah, but you killed a bunch of people. So they kind of give him that glaring look. It was basically like Hal Jordan after Rebirth. You know, it's like you've proven yourself, but you haven't proven yourself enough. And what was interesting about this too was like, I love the fact that Ollie found himself in the story as well. So Ollie's kind of like, hey, Barry, I don't care that Wally's in danger. The dude is a danger, you know, stuff like that. So anyways, long story short, Wally was going to give up his powers, and when he was going to separate himself from the Speed Force, he wound up quantum leaping. So he's been going through bits and pieces.
Right.
So like at one point he popped into Jay. At one point he popped into Bart. He even popped into his son Jai. And it was like, what's going on with all these things? Then eventually, like in this issue, we find out what's going on. Like there's a character from the past.
Oh no.
Yes, great character too. There's a character from the past that's been causing havoc with the Speed Force. So it totally like made sense why the Speed Force chose Wally. And I think if anything coming out of this, like Wally seems like a better character. Like, I mean, I love me some Barry Allen, but I think Wally is the best Flash. Like that's just, and I feel like this story definitely put him on that road. So highly recommend it. Pick yourself up a copy. It's going to be great. And the only reason I recommended because of Heroes in Crisis is because when he quantum leaps into the moments in Heroes in Crisis, and it gives it a better story. Because despite what you may feel about Heroes in Crisis, like it or love it or hate it, there's definitely some editorial mucking that happened. So we didn't necessarily get the story that was intended to be put out at the start. We just got what was published. So if you want to see not necessarily what it should have been, what it could have been, but some more to it, I think that's great.
Okay.
Then we got Future State Gotham number 3. So if you want to see some adventures of, I don't even know who anymore. I think from this cover, it kind of looks like the new Batman and Red Hood cross paths. So that could be very interesting to see. How does Jason feel about there being another Batman? Just all kinds of wild shenanigans going on with that. But I do love the fact that for those people that loved the Future State world, it's still in publication. So that's pretty cool. Then we've got Infinite Frontier number 2. This one was huge. So, oh God, same thing. I read this one early. Oh, I cheated so bad.
Well, it's Joshua Williamson.
Yeah,
He's
dude, Joshua Williamson is the architect right now. He's the next Jeff Johns. So anyways, Adrian Chase is back, and her MIB style looking DEO task force, they're out there. And I love the way this issue starts. So from the cover by Mitch Gerards, we see Superman and Batman, and basically like Adrian is going to question them.
So they changed the gender of Adrian Chase?
No, she's always been. No, maybe I'm saying the name wrong.
I thought Adrian Chase was
Because I know her last name is Chase.
vigilante.
Yeah, you know what? Adrian Chase is vigilante. Oh my God, I can't. But this character, because she was part of the DEO, she reported to Director Bones with his little skull face.
Okay.
And I know her book was called Chase. Now I can't. I thought her name was Adrian Chase.
Oh, I imagine if I
man.
click on this thing, it will tell us more about her, right?
Let's see. Cameron Chase. There it is. Okay, Cameron Chase. My bad. So Cameron Chase is back. She's brought in the DEO as well. But I love this one. Like, she just straight up goes to Superman and Batman, and she's like, hey, let's talk multiverse. Like, even when Superman comes to greet her, she's like, hey, what's up, Super Clark? And he's just kind of like, But again, his identity is public. She just doesn't care. She puts it all out there. So I love what happens in there. I don't know how to give spoilers without giving spoilers, so I'm bad at this. So if you're a Captain Atom fan, he makes a great appearance in there. Check it out. Roy Harper, he's been popping up on our radar. A major thing happens here, so definitely check that one out as well. There's quite a few. Well, there's 3 variant covers, so decide what you're going to get. The Joker issue 5 will be out as well, so we get to see more of Joker, Jim Gordon, what's going on there. And then, of course, Punchline. Yep, she's the backup story in that one, so definitely check it out. I do like that Sean Phillips cover, the Commissioner and the Clown. I don't know, it gives me like a 1940s movie poster or dime store novel kind of vibe to it, so I dig that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I even love that they made the old school sticker for it. You know, that's pretty sweet. Let's see. Justice League Last Ride number 3 will be out. So we know 2 Leaguers are dead. What happened to cause the Justice League to break up? Well, that's what we're discovering. So basically, Lobo is wanted across the universe. Hal Jordan, in his new Green Lantern costume, is like, hey, the Lanterns in the League should team up and turn Lobo in. And it's like, okay, but again, Superman and Batman just cannot condone each other. They're carrying guilt because actions led to the death of Leaguers, so that type of stuff. But it's been a pretty good ride.
Is this in continuity?
I would say no.
Okay.
Like, it's we can't use the word yet, but we need to. It feels like an Elseworld.
Okay.
You know,
just the whole Batman and Superman at odds because it led to the death of Leaguers. Like, it almost sounds like a schism, maybe.
Oh yeah, there's definitely like, hey, we need a civil war. We need something. So yeah, that's what it's gonna be.
What's the Hal Jordan new Green Lantern suit?
So it's hard to tell. To me though, when I'm looking at it, it feels very much like Alan Scott's Kingdom Come armor.
Oh, okay.
Like it's kind of got that vibe, just without that cape. But yeah, something's going on. Like Hal Jordan he's kind of different. So I don't know. Maybe this is future stuff that's going to happen in Green Lantern, and you know, this story, because this book was originally supposed to be a digital first series.
Oh. And
then they just said, heck with it, let's put it out now. So I don't know. Like, is there spoilers that we can glean from it? Are there variants in this? Who knows? You know, like I said, I just think they should already say, heck with it. Let's bring back the word Elseworlds and let's just start making those stories again, because right now Marvel's kicking tail with with What If. So they need to bring that back.
So then this cover A has a cover drawn by Derek Robertson, and you'll know that as the half of the creators of The Boys.
Yes, that's right. I forgot. I knew that name was ringing a bell in my mind.
Nice House on the Lake?
Yeah, so Nice House on the Lake, if you missed out, it is getting a second printing, so definitely check that one out if you want some more of that action. And it's even got like a variant cover for that. Then we've got Rorschach number 10. So I've spent the last 10 months of my life reviewing that book. So this Tuesday, if you want to check out my review, please do.
Hey, at least it's only been 10 months. I mean, it's 10 issues in 10 months. Like you could be getting, it could have been 10 issues in 20 months if it was some other writers.
That's true. Yeah. Actually, I will say I love the symbolism in this cover. So I thought originally the character in the middle was our unnamed detective, but instead, actually, that's the dead body that we discover in this issue. No major spoilers. Like I've been enjoying the series because each month, time in and time out, Tom King drops something, some real world thing into this book, and I seriously spent 3 hours chasing dead ends because he put like 4 brand new names in the book, and I researched the heck out of those names, and they are not people that could have tied in to this world. So he got me good this time, but this book is definitely the quiet before the storm because we have issues 11 and 12. So poop's going to be hitting the fan. Put your mask on. Let's see. Wonder Woman issue 775 will be out. So we got ourselves a big anniversary issue. A lot of crazy stuff's been going on in that book. Dead Man fans, me, you, and the other guy. If you want an appearance, check it out. But like it's a page or two. Let's see. Now we're going to start talking collections. So Deceased Unkillables. The first sequel to Deceased will be out in trade paperback format. If you like Future State, then get the Suicide Squad trade paperback so that way you can see all the wackiness that's going on there. Green Lantern Season 2, Volume 2, so the second half, and the final adventures of Grant Morrison and Liam Sharp will be collected as hardcover. Injustice is back, Year Zero, collected as a hardcover. So this was only ever given to us as a digital first series, never in print until this hardcover. So collectors, this is the only way you're going to get it. And then there's a Suicide Squad, their greatest shots, various artists and creators on that one.
It's almost like a movie's coming out soon.
Yeah, right. It totally reeks of that because they put those characters on there. So that's all our stuff from DC Comics. Then please return to your comic shop for the traditional Wednesday. From Marvel, we've got Aliens Aftermath number 1. This will be a one-shot. So if you want to get some more action from Benjamin Percy in the Xenomorph world, definitely check that out.
Now, Aliens they're doing, but they had to pull all the Predator stuff, right?
I think so.
Ago? Yeah.
Like one of them got pulled because actually there might even be some more Alien stuff that got bid. But one of those properties, they just, yanked it back real quick. Like, hold up, not yet. So, yeah, very interesting. I don't follow either world, so I don't know what's going on. Let's see. We've got Carnage, Black, White, and Blood, number 4. So if you want to get some offbeat solo tales by Crazy Creative, then definitely check out this book. And a lot of variant covers to choose from, all very interesting looking using the 3-color system. Champions issue 8 will be out. So if you want to see some of the younger heroes in the Marvel Universe, definitely check that book out. We've got a couple of variants outside of there as well. So this Peach Momoko, she's got a lot of covers out. So if you are a fan of her art, get ready to collect. Let's see. We've got some Conan issue 23 out, but it's Conan. Who cares? Excalibur issue 22 will be out. So the Hellfire Gala is over. Now it is time to pay the price. So Betsy Braddock, a.k.a. Psylocke, a.k.a. Captain Britain, something's happening. She pissed off the magical guild that is all things Captain Britain. So she's gotta pay for that. So
you know what I'm the most impressed by?
What's
the
that?
fact that there's an Excalibur book that got to 22.
Oh, dude, Excalibur got up there. Like it went up to the 70s last time.
The last time?
Yeah. Well, like the original time.
Yeah, I was
the
going to say,
last
the original
times,
time
I guess, we're just like, hey, let's just try to revive this title. Otherwise, DC might make something. Who knows? But yeah, no, it's been up there. It will be coming to a close, I think. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not too sure. I'll keep quiet on that. Let's see. We are dealing with an event right now, Extreme Carnage, because there's a movie coming. So we are going to be getting a lot of one-shots. So if you like the character of Scream, definitely check this book out to learn more about her.
Now, is Scream one of the original hybrids or offsprings from the
I
symbiote,
think so.
or
I
is
think
this a new character?
No, I think she's been around for a long time. I think because that red-yellow color combo looks very familiar. So I think she's been one. I think Scream's been one of the original Children of Carnage. Isn't that what they were?
Is that what his children? I just remember hybrids or offspring or something like that. So there was a TV show series adaptation for Cloak and Dagger.
Yes.
Right. The second season of that, was it that? I think it was the second season of that show, introduced a female detective that her in the comic book, she becomes one of the symbiote.
So her secret identity, her alter ego.
Yes,
was used.
exactly. And I don't remember which one. I think she might have been Scream. She might have been somebody else.
Interesting.
I'm not sure.
That's really wild because technically that should be a Sony property. So I wonder, I don't know. But,
Yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. You're right.
hey, I mean, I tell you, like I saw the trailer for Let There Be Carnage. And I'm excited. I could care less. I think it's going to be fun, but I'm so sad that there's no Spider-Man in this. Because I was ready to go buy that. Even though I don't own a Super Nintendo, I just want to go buy that red cartridge, Maximum Carnage, and just stare at it because that'll take me to a happier place.
There's covers all the way to E on this.
5 variants. So you got some choices there. Yeah. Let's see. Moving on to bigger, better, though. We've got Iron Man number 10. Christopher Cantwell has been doing some amazing stuff. I don't know. So on speaking of weird things, so we've got Iron Man fighting the Beyonder, right? And in this book, Ben Reilly as Scarlet Spider is in it.
Wow.
And in a couple months from now, when we hit issue 75 of Amazing Spider-Man in its current volume, Ben Reilly is going to be back as Spider-Man. And he's part of the Beyond Corporation. So I'm curious, is there leadway to this? I don't know.
So you say in a couple months this is going to happen?
Yes.
What month are we talking about?
Oh my gosh.
3 months from now when the solicits would have.
It should be, yeah, just about that. Yeah,
so 3 months from now would be August, September, October.
So October.
And our next Spider-Man movie doesn't come out till December. Are they leading us into a Ben Reilly showing up in the multiverse of men? Or no, it's not. That's not what it's called.
No Way Home.
No Way Home. Which
Dude, I would be the happiest fan alive. I love nothing more than seeing my underdogs make it to the big screen. Any screen.
Now, I'm sure I posed this to you before. But Ben Reilly as showing up on the big screen. Do you just get Tom Holland and give him a blonde wig? Or do you find another actor that looks a little bit like Tom Holland and just call him Ben Reilly? So
I'm torn. Part of me is I could go with the whole Tom Holland thing, but I think that's putting a lot of stress on the actor and a lot of unnecessary CGI. I think it was Bill Pullman's son. He played in that the movie where they were on the state line between California and Nevada, that hotel. Yep. So he was the bellboy. Yeah, I think he would be great.
Okay.
I mean, if we're going to stay with I don't want there to be clones until Spider-Man goes to college, but I don't think I'm going to live long enough to see Spider-Man go to college because every time we turn around, he just always gets younger. But I think I could see that kid playing the part. I think that'd be cool. I don't know these actors. I don't even know their names. I don't know their ages, but I mean, we've seen, 40-year-olds go to preschool. So it's Hollywood, but I think he could be pretty cool as the part. That'd be something. Maybe even then we could get ourselves into a Kane Parker, which would be awesome as well. So
that'd be my favorite if we got Kane in there. So
the more spiders we get, the happier I am. But it is interesting. Yeah, why bench Peter Parker when you have a big movie coming out? And if you've looked at some of the preview art that's out there, I don't even know if Peter's going to be making it to the bench. He might be dead. Seriously, some of this is, and what's even more wild, not a lot of people caught that, but the last time we had the 2 Spider-Men in a book was Spider-Man number 75. And that's the issue where Ben died. And now here we're getting Amazing Spider-Man number 75. Is Peter going to die? I don't know. Very, very interesting.
For the longest time I've known you, you've always gone over the Clone Saga and the switch of the Ben Reileys and the Peter Parkers. What if we get to issue number 75 and the Peter Parker we've been following dies, but we find out that he was the clone all the time and Ben Reilly's the actual Peter Parker?
Oh my god.
What if they switch it again?
I don't
know how it's possible, seeing as how we had the whole clone
conspiracy. I mean, anything's possible, but I wouldn't like it. I think, and honestly, Steve Wacker is the editor. I would tell him to turn off his Twitter. I would tell him to move and just start life over, because the fan reaction would be horrible, because that was something that's interesting. Like, and actually I was revisiting that with Green Lantern Emerald Twilight. Ron Mars came in to do a job, and whether we like it or not, and it was a harsh change, and it was a harsh one too, because I actually remember reading that Green Lantern 50 when Hal Jordan becomes Parallax, and even right there in the letters page, they basically told us, like, your character's lame, we don't care, go or not. And it was like, okay, you don't have to kick us while we're down. And it was kind of the same thing, because Peter Parker was trash back then. And I know that's like, whoa, those are fighting words. But he really was. I mean, he was just so angry, and all this talk of, I'm not a man, I'm the spider. No, dude, no. Even when JMS started that talk, I was like, no, dude, you just got bitten by a radioactive spider. There's nothing more to it, Yes, this whole idea of totems and stuff like that sounds cool, but show me the totem that leads to Mysterio if we're all animal based. Is it the goldfish? So anyways, but when they did that transfer to Ben to Peter, it hurt fans and it excited fans. And then when they did it to Ben back to Peter, it just hurt fans because they just killed Ben. We didn't get to say goodbye. We didn't get anything. That's why I think years later, when they did the 6-issue miniseries of the Clone Saga, where it's getting condensed and it just told the story straight through, that one was a lot better because it gave us hope. So, but yeah, no, a lot of crazy strings going on right now. So read Iron Man just because it's good and it's got some Ben Reilly, and then let's see what's going to happen in Spider-Man. And speaking of Spider-Man, here's the last hurrah: Sinister War. Nick Spencer's big event. I should have had a better word. But yes, he's going to be teaming up with Mark Bagley, and they are going to have, basically, remember Rogue War? So, because of the rogues, you had the newer rogues and the older rogues. This one is just the Sinister War. So all the Spider-Man villains are just going to be going crazy on each other. I don't know why. I don't know how. But gosh darn it, it's going to be very interesting. So I may or may not jump on this. And Nick Spencer, you're a jerk. Why do I say this? Because you've been dangling one more day plot lines in front of me for however long you've been on this book. And so Bleeding Cool had a panel reveal, and Mysterio's like, hold on, Spider-Man, there's some information I know. And then we see Mephisto, and it's like, are you going to do something? Do I need to buy these issues? What's going on? So I don't know. So if you're a fool like me, get ready to take out a loan.
So I'm scrolling through here. I'm on K cover for Sinister War #1. L.
Yep, L.
M. That's it.
There we go. All the way to M.
Mitch, I need to buy the M cover.
No, you don't. That doesn't. Steve Ditko.
Hidden Gem.
It's
cover.
Ditko art. I know a lot of people like it, but that layout just does not look good. It's definitely a good scorecard, though, if you want to be like, oh, who are these characters nobody cares about? I know that sounds weird to say with Spider-Man stuff. Yes. All right. Spider-Man Spider Shadow #4 is out. That's right. What If is back. It's fast and it's furious. Chip Zdarsky and Pascal Ferry are doing amazing on this book. It is dark. It is dark. I just read issue 3. It fell under my radar, and wow, J. Jonah Jameson uses a spider slayer to save Spider-Man from the symbiote. Eddie Brock killed Doc Ock, so now he's Brock Ock. Most of the Sinister Six is dead, and the Venom symbiote is gonna say, "Well, forget you," and he's gonna start taking on other heroes. And he's taking them, not giving them a choice. So let me put this on your mind. How does Reed Richards with a symbiote sound?
Oh, that sounds terrifying.
Yes. So I'm very curious to see what's going to happen there. Sticking with spiders, Spider-Woman #13 will be out by Carla Pacheco and Pere Perez. So we get to see the adventures of Jessica there. And then they're also having a Captain America 80th anniversary celebration. So some of your variant covers will feature superheroes wearing a Captain America theme, or Captain America wearing a theme of the superhero. So I forgot to mention
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Who else have we seen?
Iron Man had one, but that one definitely looked more like Steve Rogers in in an Iron Man costume. So at least I'm aware of those two. I don't know if any others happened after that. I think it was just those two. There's a lot of Star Wars books. Thor issue 15 will be out. Speaking of Captain America, here's a Thor Captain America fight. So if you want to see these two dudes throw down, there you go. Donnie Cates just going to be mixing it all up crazy style. Web, W-E-B of Spider-Man #1 is getting a second printing. That's how amazing the book is. Way of X #4 will be out. And this is going to be interesting because Onslaught is coming. So this book looks like it's planting the seeds there. So if you want to see how and why, definitely check it out. And for fans of Legion, yeah, he's in that book too. So definitely check that out as well. Nightcrawlers, you know where to go. Also continuing things X, we've got X Corp #3. So bureaucracy's cool. So we can definitely see what's going on there. How to run your own Krakoa. And we got a couple of variant covers on that. Now we're moving on to collected editions. And this is a book near and dear to my heart. The History of the Marvel Universe trade paperback. Mark Waid and Javier Rodriguez have teamed up to tell us the story of Marvel. So this is a great one. It was originally a 6-issue miniseries, I think, jam-packed and full of stuff. And not only did they just give us beautiful art and story, they also referenced where it came from in the comics. So huge shout out to that team. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. I can't wait to get my copy. King in Black, Planet of the Symbiotes trade paperback. So King in Black is done, so we are definitely getting our trades. And speaking of timing, this is pretty wild. Loki, the Mistress of Mischief trade paperback is out. So we are going to get to see some adventures of Lady Loki and some of her various formats. So that's pretty wild. The Marvelverse She-Hulk graphic novel will be out. So if you want to definitely check out some highlighted stories for upcoming Marvel characters, that's definitely a trade paperback series to follow. Mighty Marvel Masterworks, that's right, because the Marvel Masterworks were good. Now we're going to re-release them again in trade paperback, but at least we get these awesome show covers. So you have two choices. You can get a show cover with the Fantastic Four, or you can get the classic Jack Kirby one. And this Mighty Marvel Masterworks will feature Fantastic Four issues 1 through 10. Squadron Supreme versus the Avengers trade paperback. So if you want to get some first appearances and highlighted stories of the Squadron Supreme, definitely check that out. Taskmaster Rubicon Trigger, the latest Taskmaster 4-part miniseries, has been collected in trade. So if you want to meet the real Taskmaster, definitely check that out. Ultimates by Al Ewing. Yeah. His complete collection will be out. So there's a lot of wild stories there. Great cast of characters. And that is our spinner rack.
That's a big spinner rack for this week.
It's too expensive.
All those variant covers definitely going to add up.
Yes.
All right. You want to get into talking about Yelena Belova?
Yeah. Let's talk about the other Black Widow.
The other Black Widow. So if you went and saw Black Widow this week, or this past week, you know that there is other Black Widows in the Marvel Comics. We now know of one that has a particular name in the MCU, Yelena Belova. They've decided, or it's portrayed by actress Florence Pugh. She has been in other things like Midsommar, Fighting with My Family, Little Women, and then other things. But yes, she good actress.
Oh yeah, she did a solid job.
Did a really good job. Definitely made you feel for the character, a character that we didn't know about, a character that is going to be more prominent going forward in the MCU, which I believe probably going to make her more prominent going forward in the MU.
Yeah, like let's bring her back to life because she's been dead since 2014. Spoiler.
Speaking of, when was she created?
All right. So this is one of those tricky ones, and I don't have the actual issue in front of me, but apparently it's credited as Inhumans Volume 2, Issue 5, which popped out in January of 1999. So this is part of the whole Marvel Knights era. But I would honestly say pick up Marvel Knight. Well, it's Black Widow Volume 1, but it's the Marvel Knights Black Widow. I would say pick that up. I think that's where you're going to get more information about, well, her first appearance. I'm thinking it's probably one of those ones like, hey, here's a 10-page preview in the back of this book, kind of like Wolverine. Like we all know it's 181, but technically it's 180 because he pops up in the last panel. And then even then, do you buy the comic that has the ad? Hey,
Yeah, it's true.
Previews?
It's true.
Whoa. So yeah, but I would recommend Black Widow Volume 1, Number 1 by Devin Grayson and J.G. Jones, which also is a very hot story to get. It's a 3-part miniseries, so you're probably not going to find the issues for out cheap anymore, but there is a good trade out that collects that and the next story arc, but that'll definitely feature a lot of Yelena's first story.
So the idea behind this is that in the comic book, she is the next Black Widow, someone who's also been through the Red Rune, someone who's done the training, now wants to take the title from Natasha because she's no longer Russian. She's no longer working for Mother Russia.
Yes.
She has all the same skills, but does she have all the same quote-unquote powers?
I'd say not at first. Actually, if anything, I'd say it might be in reverse. They have the same powers, but not experience.
Okay.
So
but she doesn't have the longevity or the infinity formula.
I don't think. Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, she might not have that, the Russian version of it.
Okay.
So yeah, that's actually a good point. Because her power set is drastically changed, so it's hard to say what she started with. But even the same thing has happened to Natasha.
Exactly.
At first, she was just a lady running around in a dress. Now she's like, "Look at me! I got cool wrist guards."
When we first introduced to Yelena, do we get a lot of backstory, or does that come in another?
I don't think there's reference to the Red Room, and as we've discussed in past episodes, there's not. It's just a Red Room. It's like mysterious. So we don't get to know much about her. She's just there. She is she's very much like, I want your title. I want this. I'm gonna be this. The only way I can do it is by taking you out. So she's just more or less a character created for story. But no,
it's a foil. It's a foil just for Natasha. It's like, how do you deal with Natasha's Bizarro, the bad version of her?
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it. So yeah, so she's just created in that aspect just to get character use. I don't think we see much of her for quite a while. And then the next time, because that's 1999. Now, the next series I would recommend, and this is where I can get a little bit lost, but it's the 2001 Black Widow series, which is funny because they should have just called it issue 5. I don't know. But so anyway, I think this is volume 2 or volume 3. I forget. But this one is a major one because now Natasha needs to go back to Russia, and they do the face-off thing. So the Travolta
faces?
Cage, yep, exactly. And this is what really has me feel sad for Yelena as a character, because it's like, we don't care what's happening to you. You're just this foil. So it's really interesting. Like, it kind of made me think about how they talk about, what is it, girls in fridges, characters that are just created to be
Just to die.
And I'm like, what would you call Yelena then? Because
I mean,
she gets totally used, but
yeah, as you put it, she is definitely a tragic character. She's one that is there just to die or just to get defeated, just to prop up Natasha more often than not. There was a time when if Kitty's listening today, would like to go back, I want to say 15 years, maybe not even that far, maybe just 10 years.
For the Google.
When Ryan Reynolds was first going up as Deadpool.
Oh, God.
And this is before the Deadpool movies. So they were drawing Deadpool to look like Ryan Reynolds, kind of, but they were getting Natasha involved with the Deadpool character. Like, they were having the two characters get involved, but that was because Ryan Reynolds and Scarlett Johansson were dating at the time.
What? That's right, kids. Your mind just melted.
But then they pulled the one on you in the book, and it was actually Yelena that was parading around as Natasha.
Yeah, I don't think that relates to this story.
No.
Okay.
That was a different story altogether.
Yeah,
Just something I remembered.
Yeah.
Literally, I have almost no knowledge of Yelena other than that story and now the movie. So
Yeah, and the movie's where it's going to be because that's clearly where they're going to change stuff.
they're definitely going to change it, yeah.
But yeah, no. But like I said, I would recommend that. Volume 1, issues 1 through 3. That's her introduction. Then this next one, I think I said, it's Volume 1 or 2. It's the 2001 series. And this is the one that's by Devin Grayson and Greg Rucka. Art by Scott Hampton. And I really admire this art. Like, it's just these soft tones. I think a lot of that goes more towards the colorist. Let me see if I can get... No, they don't have listings for the colors. But that's the one where it's like literally their faces are swapped. Just because Nick Fury's like, go find me some Russians. And Natasha's like, sure. And so they swap out. And Yelena wakes up as Natasha. And she's like, no, I'm supposed to be Yelena. But everybody's like, no, you're Natasha. So talk about a psychological mind effort on her. Like, she knows she's in the right, but she can't prove it. So it's crazy. And they even do that to us as the readers. So that's a fantastic one. So I definitely would recommend that story arc as well. And I truth be told, I do not have that much experience with the character. I had recovered some memories recently because I was like, I know I have some tangentalness to her. So she did pop up in New Avengers. Just because they had her kind of same type of thing where it's like, well, if I can't kill Natasha, then I'm going to go kill her friends. And so she starts popping up in the New Avengers. I don't know. Like, I know for sure. Okay, here we go. She pops up in New Avengers issue 6. So this is when Bendis takes the team and he like the whole raft and all that stuff. And so Yelena pops up there, and then she pops up in New Avengers Annual number 1. But all I remember was her face basically got blown to smithereens, and then they were starting to recreate her as the next Super Adaptoid. So the Super Adaptoid is basically the Super Skrull, Mimic, Composite Superman Batman, Amazo. He's just this giant robot that when he gets near you, he can assimilate your powers.
Yeah, I always thought of the Super Adaptoid as being the same as like Amazo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's straight up. It's like, because even the design, it's like the Hawkeye. I mean, it's all solid green, but it's like the Hawkeye mask with the Thor hammer,
and
the Captain America chainmail.
The scale mail,
yeah. So all that type of stuff. So Yelena is that, and then next up, she does pop up in Secret Avengers. She's part of their big story arc, and like that's a big story arc because I want to say it goes on for like 15 issues, if I remember correctly. And
funny that she wasn't used in like in Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's funny. She wasn't used in the Dark Avengers, but she actually did serve some time as a Thunderbolt.
Okay.
Which is coming. I don't know if that's true.
I mean, that's a possibility. So we don't have to get into any spoilers from the movie just yet, but like, sure, the MCU is definitely looking like it is going towards either Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts or both at some point. Ooh. We have characters for both.
And actually, I apologize. So I'm cheating. I'm looking at the thing right here, and it says her time Vanguard and Thunderbolts. So it tells us Yelena turns up alive and was working with the superhero Black Op team Vanguard, but then was again forced into hiding when the team disbands. After the Skrull invasion, Norman Osborn approaches Yelena when she's stealing from an abandoned S.H.I.E.L.D. facility. However, this Yelena turns out to be Natasha. So Yelena doesn't even get the cool story. She just gets the tragic moments. She's the Doom bot. So however, so she's the original Black Widow in disguise under Nick Fury's orders to infiltrate the Thunderbolts. Osborn even knows this, but he uses her to strengthen the bonds of his Thunderbolts and lead him to Fury and Songbird to be executed. Wow. So that's a crazy story arc, but she's not involved in it. So that actually takes us to Thunderbolts issues 133 through 136. So if you want some good Natasha reading, there you go.
So as we saw in the movie, she is a few years younger than Natasha. They definitely have the older sister, younger sister rivalry or even a relationship. She is very much hurt by the idea that Natasha never came to look for her after Natasha got
Avengered.
Avengered. That's a good way of putting it. I was going to say extradited from the Black Widow program, but yeah, it's got to be pretty interesting. Like, oh, you're an Avenger. You should be helping me, but you went and decided to help everybody else.
Well, it really is. Like, I don't know. It leaves a funny taste in my mouth because this clearly happens after Captain America: The Winter Soldier, correct? Because this is supposed to be after Civil War. Mm-hmm. But if we remember, after Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Natasha releases all the information.
It's true.
Hey, it's all out there. Obviously, S.H.I.E.L.D. had information about the Red Room, and yet she didn't take it upon herself to be like, I should go rescue my family. Like,
well, so I haven't looked into any of this because I didn't think about it until you brought it up right now. She released the S.H.I.E.L.D. Hydra files, right?
Okay, that's a good point.
In their knowledge, she destroyed the Red Room when she killed Dreykov.
Okay.
So I would assume that the files say the Red Room's done. When in actuality, the Russians were actually really good at keeping their secrets, and Red Room was still going.
Suckers.
They stole plans, or they created their own plans for a helicarrier, called it the Red Room, put it in the sky. Oops, sorry for spoilers for the movie if you haven't watched it yet. But I honestly, what I wanted to talk about was that one, as we talked about last week with the Red Room, there is the male counterpart to the Black Widow program. It's
the Wolf Spider.
The Wolf Spider program. Do we ever get to see this? Would you like to see this in the MCU?
Oh, no. It was... Honestly, I don't even know why Brubaker... I mean, I guess I want to see it just to help Brubaker out and get some money. But it was a one-man crew. Boris, I think was his name. Like, he was nothing special. Like, I prefer it. I think that's the best way to look at it is that... Like, the Winter Soldiers are the male equivalent, and the Black Widows are the female equivalent. But even then, like, well, what does that mean for Red Guardian? Like, what is he?
Well, even in the MCU, in the Winter Soldiers program that they created, there was a female in that group.
Yeah, that's true, too.
So that was the other thing I was going to bring up. In the MCU alone, we have... Russian agents that were created the Winter Soldier.
All right.
Created the Winter Soldiers.
Yeah, thankfully Baron Zemo was like, no, squish.
Created the Black Widows.
Mm-hmm.
Created the Red Guardian.
Yep.
Like, how is it that the Russians
and there's a Crimson Dynamo, because that got name dropped.
Crimson Dynamo gets name dropped. Vanko.
Yeah, Vanko.
We saw him in the Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
So how is it that they had all these things and yet still did not come out as the winner?
Ant-Man.
Oh, fair enough.
That's how you argued.
Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. They were the Cold War fighters. Any other characters you could decide? I mean, just because we're getting a Moon Knight series doesn't mean it's set in modern times. So maybe Moon Knight is the commie smasher. Random bullshit to go. Like there you go. Like I mean, there's definitely a way to play it out. As we saw with oh my gosh, because what's the show? Agent Carter. Like Jarvis is there. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, so they're just titles. Like that's what helps me get through these movies anymore. It's like, hey, they're just titles. I try not to get too excited. I almost kind of hope they don't use my characters because you never know what they're going to do for good or bad. I'm sorry. I just got to call it as I see it sometimes.
Yeah, but they did a good job with Winter Soldier.
Oh, they did a great job with Winter Soldier. But at the same time, I also lose Bucky's redemption as Captain America. So it's exciting that I have two versions of a story. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's sad that I miss out on certain things. But I mean, I'm a Cyclops fan. I've endured now, X-Men came out 2000, so 21 years of whatever the hell you want to call that. And I mean, that's no shame to James Marsden. He was great. Even the kid in X-Men Origins is great. Ty Sheridan, I think is his name, right?
Ty Sheridan is the new, he was the latest Cyclops.
I liked him as that Game Boy character, whatever that was.
No,
better.
He's not really great in Ready Player One either.
Yeah, but so I mean, they are what they are. But yeah, that's, you just explain it that way. It's like, okay, hey, we at least know Ant-Man was active in that time. S.H.I.E.L.D. was there. Maybe. God, I'm trying to think who are some famous S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that we haven't seen, but there really aren't that many. Dum Dum, yeah, that's what he did in his old age.
Well, we saw Dum Dum. He's a Howling Commando. So unless they gave him the Infinity Formula,
gotta hope so.
Which they're supposed to. Like that's Nick Fury and in Dum Dum were supposed to have that so that they
they're
could
the ones
live.
that lasted.
They're supposed to last. So yeah, Yelena Belova is.
Oh, the Parkers. There you go. They could be. One,
that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Bring that story around. Yelena Belova going forward, she is going to be our Black Widow. I assume that she's going to keep the title. She's the movie. Well, I don't want to.
Well, in the MCU, there's definitely a character arc coming for her. There's definitely going to be a character arc, and we'll talk more about that. I'm excited. Like, I know it's definitely throwing back to the early stages of the MCU. And what's beautiful about a character like this in terms of comic books, she's so fresh and malleable that anything can happen. Even though you and I, we may joke about the films and whatnot, but these tangential properties do give us a lot. Kryptonite was created on the Superman radio show. Mm-hmm. Jimmy Olsen was created on the Superman radio show.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So those were not comic book things.
The noise that we now hear whenever we see Kryptonite came from Smallville? No, Lois and Clark. Sorry.
Okay.
Lois and Clark, the new Adventures of Superman.
I love that show. I never realized Kryptonite made a sound. Now I got to go back and watch that. I've been wanting to anyways. But yeah, I mean, we gain all those things. Harley Quinn, there's a huge example. She appeared in the cartoon show, made her way to comics. Firestar, she appeared first in Spider-Man's Amazing Friends.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she appeared there, and then they were like, yeah, toss her in with the X-Men. Oh, it didn't work. Crap.
She's a mutant, but we're not going to keep her in the X-Men.
Yeah, it'll happen-ish, maybe. Hellions? No.
But yeah, so as you stated, those are all the stories that
yeah, that's what I would recommend.
Make up Yelena Belova.
Yeah.
And like I said, one of the only other things that I know about the character is the brief that she got mentioned in Tales of Suspense that we talk about a lot in this because I just enjoyed that story. Making her one of many clones, just like Natasha was one of many clones. And that's the reason why she came back after her death in Secret Empire. So we'll see. We'll see what Marvel decides sticks going into the future.
Because if we look at it, the way it plays out, so the big money issue right now is Secret Avengers Volume 2, Issue 15. So that's the big money issue because that's where Yelena died. Let me get to this point. So the Secret Avengers took her body and escaped in a submarine, only to discover the deceased Mockingbird was actually Yelena. So they almost thought they lost. Oh my God, why can I not think of her name?
Bobby Morse.
Yeah, there we go, Bobby Morse. So they thought it was one of their own, but it turned out to be Yelena. Her belt contained a hollow camouflage device, so the actual Mockingbird sneaked into during the fight. So body's dead. We've seen it dead. But again, you've got to keep in mind, she's got certain properties due to the fact of her being enhanced. Mm-hmm. Then she pops up in the series that and it's a worthwhile read. I think it was Tales of Suspense, issues 100 through 105, if I remember correctly. So it was again reviving a Marvel title into the modern age. I think it was part of, what was it? Marvel Now?
I feel like it was after Marvel Now.
Well, it was definitely after, but they used Marvel Now twice.
Oh.
That's how ridiculous it got.
Because that was a good name.
Marvel Nower? Marvel Now. But anyways, so yes, so in this series, we discovered that there's a lot of clones. So the Red Room, and again, if you want to see some Red Room action, that might be great. You're going to get Hawkeye, you're going to get Winter Soldier, you're going to get Natasha, so it's great stuff there. So... But yeah, a bunch of Yelena clones are the ones that are being used to be killed. So it ends off here. Yeah, Natasha had another clone of Yelena impersonate her to throw them off. The Winter Soldier let the clone go after capturing her, but failing to get any information from her. Then Natasha killed her when they met up. So even her clone is dead, and that takes place in Tales of Suspense 103. That Tales of Suspense series is collected as a trade paperback if you'd like to get it. But yeah, so she's dead. Her clones are dead. But clearly this movie is going to change stuff. I mean, Red Guardian's going to start. Actually, I'm sorry. Russians are popping up in the new Avengers. It's not New Avengers. It's the newest volume of Avengers by Jason Aaron. This whole World War She-Hulk. Mm-hmm. The Russians are coming, and they're the ones that are going to fight all this stuff. So if you want to see Red Guardian and a couple other of those characters, they're going to be popping up in there. But I mean, as far as we know, Red Guardian, Iron Maiden, and Yelena, they're all malleable. Anything can go. So if that's going to be mommy, daddy, sister, brother, or if that's going to be comrade, who knows? It's all up in the air right now. It's up to you.
All right. There you go. There is Yelena Belova and a 101. For a deeper dive, go and read those books. All right. If you want to talk to me more about Yelena Belova or any of the other things we talked about today, reach me on Twitter. I'm at Mitchipedia GEM. GEM stands for Geek Elite Media. Chris, where can people find you online?
You can definitely find me on Twitter as well. My handle is Stuff I Should Say, should being spelled SHUD. And then check out my writings on geekelitemedia.com and AIPTcomics.com. So this way we can talk comics.
The rest of Geek Elite Media is at Geek Elite Media on Twitter, at Geek Elite Media on Instagram, and Facebook.com/Geek Elite Media is our Facebook page. Check out archived episodes of this podcast and other podcasts on our website, geekelitemedia.com. Go to patreon.com/Geek Elite Media for all things exclusive to only our patrons. You can get things like Reimagine If, which is the companion show to this. We talk about Loki and the TV series from Disney Plus. And whatever podcast you use to listen to us, please rate and review us because it helps spread the word of our network. But until next time, this is Imagine If on the Geek Elite Media Network saying always remember to
Geek out.
This concludes our broadcast. Beep.